my Dixon Records. Africa is
Let's
blessed.
protect our culture and tourism. Let's protect our culture and tourism. Africa is blessed with natural resources. Join us this Saturday to unveil this opportunity.
Ambassador Kayode
On board, Ambassador Sarah. On board, Mr. Ebuka. On board, ESBA Lebio. On board, Mrs. Tope Momo. On board, and our moderators. On board. Go get Africa. Let's protect our culture and tourism. Let's protect our culture and tourism. Let's protect our culture and tourism.
It's time to unveil business investment opportunities in tourism and real estate in Africa. Join us this Saturday.
you know your terms and condition, you know what you want, he will advise you. And even before you go into that, you should have checked his or her profile. You should know the company you are working with. You should know who you are dealing with, and then the trust, the issue of trust, to some certain level, you should be able to get it. That person should be able to give it to you. So when you have this in place, I think you have a good place to invest in. The major problem we have is, who are you dealing with? Once that question can be answered and you have the right person to deal with, your investment will be secured. Others are for you to check, for you to know government policies. Once you do the right thing the government asks you to do, you will not fall into many bad investment. Once you do your feasibility and viability studies well, before even venturing into the investment, you need to test what you want to go into. You have a huge amount to invest. I think it is right for you to get a professional to know the viability of that project, of that investment. So once all these checks are being put into places, I don't think you will run into crisis. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that insight. Um, Actually, you're very right. I also think that some of the mistakes we make in investing back home is not reaching out to the right people. Just as Ambassador Sarah also said. So we also trust more in our relatives, who actually might not even know the right people to meet. So thank you for joining us, and we are glad to meet you people today. So
Can I
maybe
can I can I add to
any
that
any day we
contribution?
want to invest, we could also look out for you people. So Ambassador Kayode want to say something. The floor is yours,
Yeah.
sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. I just wanted to support what ESV Lebio said. That one of the challenges investors face in Africa is meeting the right people. And when you talk of the right people, it means the professional. So you don't just because you know someone is into a business and you wanted to venture into such business and you just go straight approach such person. You should be able to get your facts, get your findings about who that person is. How is this person doing the business? Is this person doing the business legitimately? There are some businesses that you think they are doing fine, but they are not that legitimate. When it comes to documentation, they are nowhere to be found. In Africa, we've seen some countries that are doing well, but the day you ask for their tax document, that is when you know that this business is a problem, is not a proper legitimate business. So doing business with the right person is the key. And most times, some of the challenges the investor face is that some of them are being deceived by website. Some believe once I visit a website, I read through the content on the website and it is fantastic, then they go straight into business dealing with such a country. So I want to say, yes, the website is fine, but after being convinced by what you see on the website, you should still do your due diligence to know who that company is, if that company is duly registered, if the company is up to date on the necessary certification. Coming back home to Nigeria, like for example, the business I do, which is the travel and tourism, there are criteria, there are things that you need to do before you can be a certified travel and tourism professional, especially to be a travel agent. You must be a member of the one of the association. Either you are a member of the National Association of Nigeria Travel Agency, which through that association you can trace the company you are dealing with. You can trace the entity, the owner of the business you are dealing with. Then, when you deal with the right person, you will get information on what and what certificates, what and what registration you need to do. Like, for example, if you are coming to the travel, you want to be a travel agency, you register with the CAC, and the Corporate Affairs Commission. That is the organization that is saddled with the responsibility of registering companies in Nigeria. If you want to register a travel and tourism agency, you need a minimum of 30 million share capital. But some investors, some people coming into the business, they don't know. They will just approach the Corporate Affairs Commission, open a business with share capital of 2 million naira, furnish the office, and by the time they want to venture into business activity proper, they will now start encountering some challenges of, oh, we cannot accept 2 million share capital. It has to be 30 million share capital. And when you now want to upgrade from 2 million share capital to 30 million, it becomes a cumbersome process all over again. So these are information that professionals will give to you whenever you want to invest. And there's some other information about, oh, after you get your company registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission, you want to start issuing tickets directly from the airline without visiting you want to have what we call ticketing authority. Then you need another minimum of 32 million naira to get that done with the International Air Travel Association, known as IATA. So these are some of the information that investors lack. But when you meet with the right people, you get this information, you know the process to go, and you will never miss it. And another thing I know is that before you can register a company in any part of Africa or Nigeria, I think one of the citizens of that country must be part of that business, must be a shareholder, and it varies from one country to another. Some country will say a citizen must hold some percentage, maybe 40 or 40 or 40. So these are some of the challenges that may come up if you are not approaching the right person. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ambassador Kayode. That was really insightful. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm going to hand over to Mr. Bisik. Are you still there? Is your network okay now?
Yes, I am.
Okay, you can go on. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity again. As I was saying, some of the things that have been highlighted, just exactly like Ambassador Deshola just expressed, like ease of doing business. Essentially, policies put in place are supposed to be able to enable those who are interested in doing business in any country to have access to the right information and the right professionals to engage with, such that the federal institutions on ground enable for them to get the right certifications and licenses and information for them to operate within those countries, as optimally as they should. The other thing essentially would be that would need to be talked about is the unfortunate issue of news about terrorism and certain things happening in African countries. These are some of the scares that make it rather impossible for Africans to invest in some countries, or for those in the diaspora to return, to Africa to want to invest. The scaremongering that comes from terrorist activities in various countries in Africa. So these are challenges that need to be taken head on, particularly by the governments themselves, because you cannot run businesses without having the ability to secure those businesses or the environment in which those businesses will execute. So these are some of the areas that must be looked at, and I would believe that a program like this needs to articulate a document that naturally should be submitted to government institutions to let them know that stakeholders from across Africa are meeting at such webinars, and it will make all the sense in the world for some of them to be here to hear from them, because a lot of the issues raised here, or a lot of the answers raised here, will help shape, policy directions that enable private businesses, corporations, even the countries themselves to shape the operating environments. This particularly is what I would, want to share for the meantime. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Mr. VCK. Thank you. Um, it's really different. I couldn't see you. I was able to read the BridgeAfrique magazine. I was telling them, and I read about you. So it would have been great to see you in person too. Over to Mr. Ken. Are you there?
Kingdom Truth for All Nations presents Shagun Tewagbola.
Okay, over to you.
Oh, okay. My question is to I think Gogi. It's a Gogi Africa. Are you here, please?
Yes, I'm sure NECA is there too. I'm here, and the NECA is there somewhere.
Okay, NECA, that's the couple. Okay, okay. I can see. I think NECA is Moses raising the hand. Okay, so please, this question is for you. What statistical data can investors rely on as regard their return on investment in tourism in Africa? Did you get me?
Hello?
Hello? Yes, Mr. Moses. I say, what statistical data can investors rely on as regards their return on investment in tourism in Africa? That's talking of the analytical factor. What analytical factor can we have that can encourage investors about their returns to invest in Africa? Maybe
okay, I'd like to
can answer that.
Okay.
Okay, let me attempt to answer that. Okay, I wasn't introduced. If it's okay, my name is Nneka Isaac Moses. I'm the managing director of BridgeAfrique. Now, for return on investment, I'll push back just 30 seconds to the previous talk about coming to invest in any country. Africa is a continent, it's not a country. So there is no single data that speaks to return on investment in tourism generally or generically for Africa. Yeah. So, but I want to say something about those that want to invest in other countries. People are very people that have spoken before me have spoken very well, talking about
Kingdom Truth for All.
the right this. But I tell you, I want to speak with our personal experience as BridgeAfrique Worldwide Limited. That you cannot go into any country to invest without doing the first due diligence. Apart from the fact that you've read about BridgeAfrique, seen us online, we're so great. The first thing you should do if you're coming in from, say, wherever,
Kingdom Truth for All Nations presents Shagun Tewagbola.
Your embassy in that country. Your embassy will be your first port of call. Then you let them know what you want to do in that country. And of course, I'm talking about people that are doing legitimate business. If your business is not legitimate, you won't go that route. But for a legitimate business, your first port of call will be your embassy. A recent example is when we went into Burundi, our first port of call was our embassy. Our embassy is the first person who will tell what we want to do. He will now connect us to the right ministry, who will in turn take us to the right corporation or whoever we are dealing with, so that you're sure you're dealing with an entity that is not just registered online, but has a physical office. So that's my first advice to any investor, to any country, for any business. Now, coming to your question, the data is not generic. Tourism, like I would always tell everybody, is multifaceted because tourism is one of the most important growing services right now. Interrelated, connected to other sectors from transport to infrastructure, construction, our real estate guy here, ICT, food, and etc. Now, whatever chain, wherever you want to lock in tourism, the data there is specific. Let's say you come in and you say you want to log into, let's say, the building industry. What is it called? Real estate. The real estate people, they've got their own data that will help you understand what's going on there in Nigeria. And for Nigeria, you just can't, do real estate anywhere. This guy on this platform will be the one to say, him and his people will be the one to say, okay, real estate is moving very well in Abuja, Lagos, Port Harcourt. This is just a guess. I'm not a professional there. Then you're talking into, say, transport. Then people, they'll tell you where you're most likely to get a fast return on investment. Because I'm a rail person, I want people to invest in rail. But then you don't take my word for it. You have to do your due diligence. So generically, Africa does not have a database where you go and plug in and say, oh, if you invest in food, you're going to get your return on investment within 2 months. No, it is done country by country and let's say sector by sector. So let's be properly guided in that direction. But it's good to get data. Data helps you to analyze and be able to take the right decision. But at the same time, be mindful. Data is something that is not accurately collected, even in Nigeria. Not just in Nigeria, but other countries. Very few African countries actually have correct data on certain things that are required that they should have data for, to enable investors and for other reasons. Even for policy making, you need data. So that would be my generic answer. I hope it helps to serve the purpose, at least to some extent. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Ms. Neka. It helped to a certain extent. Yeah. But like, as I said, like an investor, because if somebody has to be encouraged to maybe to move, let's say, to Nigeria, okay, Africa was really, let's say, to Nigeria, it is but normal. And maybe you in the tourist sector, you can tell me, no.
Okay, like I said,
sector,
you asked for
without
data.
Any investor would like the analytical part of it. Yes. Nigeria,
sorry,
it's okay.
If you say Nigeria, narrow it down. If you say food, for instance, agriculture, if you want to say tourism, if you say agriculture, I'll say to you, there are data that you can collect. What value chain do you want to plug in there? You want to be the direct farmer that tills the soil? What level of investment do you want to do? Is it mechanical farming? You're getting all the tractors and all of that. If it is at that level, then it is easy to make you understand the fact that, yes, if you're doing that, the data is available. One thing you know is that Nigeria has numbers. So food supply, if you have the road network or the network to deliver to people that will purchase, even serving Nigeria alone is a big do, not to talk of thinking of exporting it. So anybody that invests in agriculture in Nigeria, you most likely finish your produce right here in Nigeria before you think of exporting, because Nigeria has got the numbers. And we also have the money we spend as well. So it depends on which area. You come to my area, tourism. Is it domestic tourism you're looking at, or you're looking at inbound only? Then you need some professional advice. If you're thinking domestic tourism, for instance, Nigeria is one of those countries where a foreigner would come in and invest in boutique hotels. In most countries, it's not allowed. If you're an investor from outside, you should be able to do a 4 or 5 star hotel before you're getting a license to do that. But in Nigeria, you see small boutique hotels. They are competing with tour operators and other investors, local investors who are even doing Airbnb with their homes. You see them doing the same. You cannot come into someone's country and start competing with the locals at that level. It's not a fair business practice. As an investor who leaves your destination, going to another country, every country have got a minimum level of investment you do as an investor. You can't come in and start doing pure water with me. But some countries do not even have that law put in place to protect the locals. And when you do not protect your locals, that's why you encourage some of us to capital flight. People move on to where they think they will get a better opportunity to grow. Everywhere is quiet. Is it I'm not communicating?
Well, yes,
no,
we're
I
getting you loud and clear.
We're enjoying it.
We are listening.
We're getting you. It's very clear, man. It's because it's so enjoyable, it's so sweet, you're so explicit, so we are just dreaming.
Sorry, I will share one thing extra. I think the word she, that will have perfectly encapsulated that is, nations have policies around protectionism of, their citizen engagement in commercial markets.
Absolutely.
And you cannot have aliens just come in and then gain entry at those levels such that they can steal their market share and, other aspects essentially of their business establishment, over the years. So it only makes sense to be able to regulate them and ensure that entry can be modulated per time so that, the competition is fairly open, as much as also you are ensuring that there are no monopolies, because monopolies actually mean that you cannot expand the economy or new innovation cannot come in. Fantastic, madam. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. My next question will go to, please, I will just call Mr. Olorofemi. I'm not a Nigerian.
Okay.
I'm just trying to pronounce. Did I call it correctly, sir? Olorofemi.
Olorofemi.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Mr. Okay.
Femi.
Okay, Mr. Femi, that's better. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Femi, we would like to know, when you get many Africans, they talk of real estate, they are Donald Thomas, a real estate man, many people, everybody is talking about real estate. I want to ask you, do you have any analytical data of how real estate has contributed to the growth of the Nigerian economy?
Thank you very much. Just like my sister Nneka said, I think you can even see me raising up my hand while she was talking. I wanted to say one or two things. Like we said, one of the major things, I know from one country to another country in Africa, we might have little improvement. The issue of data is very, very key. And I think we're having some minimal problem to that. I cannot really come out and tell you certain percentage, it is what you will get. But to some extent, there are little contribution which the real estate personally and to the government also that has brought to the upbringing, as in contribution to the growth of the country. Now, when we talk about real estate, let me speak about Nigeria now. You see, the government have tried in so many ways to see how they can improve individual government workers get houses in which they will stay. There's this national housing fund, which 2.5% of their salary is being contributed from what government pay them. These are for people that work with government. But now when we talk about people coming in to invest, that's where I want to go to. Now, what are you investing into? We have so many kind of properties. We have residential properties, we have commercial properties, we have religious properties, we have agricultural properties, and we have recreational properties. Now, for me, in line with what we are doing right now, I want to take Abuja, that's the Federal Capital Territory, as a case study. And since we are talking about real estate and tourism, I want to look at Abuja as a case study and then look at the recreational properties we have here. They are very limited. And this is a place whereby you find any little holiday, people want to travel out to go to other places because we still lack most of these recreational facilities. And I tell you, if we have this thing, if people invest into recreational properties, I tell you, they will make their profits. If you move towards, there's a place called Nasarawa, one of the states in Nigeria, Nasarawa State. Kefi precisely is very close to Abuja. It's less than 1 hour, 30 minutes drive. Anytime I drive towards that axis, I look at the potential of anyone investing there. Most especially when it has to do with recreational. You see people, they need a quiet place whereby they can go, move out, drive, take a drive of say 1 hour drive. You can have a section, huts are being built, people can stay, lodge in there 2-3 days, weekends, even a week. You pay, you are making money. And I said that to have places, amusement park there, you can even have a mini zoo where your children can go around, you pay. These are places where, these are things where I feel investors outside can look into, and they will really make their money. There's another place that bounds Abuja, going towards Lokoja, Kogi State. You have vast land to your right, to your left. These are places where people can invest in. Now, I know most people will be looking at residential. We've had so many people come into residential development. We even have individual people in Nigeria going into residential. But people are not really looking into that recreational aspect. As Abuja is right now, I can count 5 recreational centers where you can go with your children. You can have a sleepover, not just go visit and come back. You can have a sleepover, move around, pay. I don't think we really have 2, 3, 4. So this is an aspect whereby anybody that wants to invest can look into. Yes, the capital might be huge, but I tell you, you will make your profit at the long run. And anybody going into investment, just like I said, you need to do your feasibility studies, your viability studies. Because before you move into anything, you count your costs. So once you get these parameters right, you will make, at the long run, you will make your money. And when you're going into investment, there are short-term investment, there are mid-term investment, and there are investment for long-term. When you start recouping back you start getting back gain interest on your investment. Thank you.
Fantastic,
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Adewale.
Sorry, can I share something?
Yes, I was coming to you. You need to share, and after that, I have a question for you, please. You can go on.
Okay, I can go on.
Yes. First,
I have to commend Mr. Thank you
Mr.
very much.
Adewale, I would like you to introduce yourself a bit. It seems like you didn't introduce yourself.
All right.
This is not.
Can you hear me?
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah, we can
you
hear
hear
you.
me?
Can hear
Loud
you.
and clear.
Oh, great. My name is Adewale Adewuse. You can call me Wale for short. I'm an estate surveyor and valuer based in Abuja, just like my brother Olorunfemi. I would like to just throw a little bit of insight to what has been shared already. With respect to data, I'm just going to, for anyone who cares to know, to refer us to the National Bureau of Statistics. You can visit the site, nigerianstats.gov.ng. I can drop it in the comment section. The ministry or agency is saddled with the responsibility of collating relevant information, data about the Nigerian economy. And also with respect to real estate, I think for last year, 2021, real estate contributed about 3.6% to Nigeria's GDP. What I would also like to comment on real estate investment in Nigeria, it is profitable, it is on the high, but of course, real estate has to do with location. You just can't, take your money anywhere and invest. That's why it was mentioned earlier by my colleague Femi. You need to know the right persons. You need to consult the right consultants and professionals to advise you on where to invest. On the average, the ROI, for instance, for residential accommodation is between 5 and 6%, in Abuja where I operate. And you can also find same in Lagos with respect to Lekki, Ikoyi, and some other places. It can even go higher in some places as well. Yes, I think for now I would rest, my case and then provide further information. I'm an estate surveyor and valuer based in Abuja. We deal in properties, real estate, property valuation, appraisals, feasibility viability studies, facilities management, and I'm honored to be on this platform. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wale. That is exactly what we are looking for, numbers. The analytical explanation was very clear and understandable. Now, Mr. Wale, I would like to ask you this. For you as a surveyor, do you think the real estate business in Nigeria, let's say Nigeria, the real estate business in Nigeria, is it moving in a steady, in a fast pace, slow pace, or
of course it is.
Very slow pace?
It was reported somewhere that Abuja is the fastest growing city. So with respect to that, I would say yes, it is increasing on a fast pace. And also considering the fact that Nigeria is the most populous country in Africa with over 200 million people, and of course about 80% of that figure to be young people, and of course young upwardly mobile individuals. They would require housing, where to stay, even as as they grow. And of course, the movement of people from the rural to urban centers, there will be need for housing. Definitely, it is a fast growing sector. And of course, with the current deficit of housing, we don't have the actual figure yet, but it is placed somewhere around 17 to 20 million housing deficit. So there's not enough the government can do to meet that demand. So private individuals have to come in to help in that regard. So the space is there for foreign investors to come in to invest. Like my brother also mentioned, it is rare to find a place where you can go with your family and just relax and very sectors like the 4 bedrooms, 5 bedrooms. I would also like to chip in something quickly. There's this, in Nigeria now where you have young people, relocating, going outside the country. And as they relocate, we have this, barrage of youth wanting to sell their houses. So it's common now.
It's my Dixon records. Africa is blessed.
Let's protect our culture and tourism. Let's protect our culture and tourism.
Africa is blessed with natural resources. Join us this Saturday to unveil this opportunity. Ambassador Kayode on board. Ambassador Sarah on board.
I recognize Mr. Ebuka. One last question, Mr. Wale.
Yes, sir.
Do you think the government is contributing enough to help people invest in the real estate department or not? And if they are contributing, what are the ways put in place? Like, for example, we can have mortgage systems. There's ways like that to encourage people invest in the real estate.
Okay, what I would say.
But in Africa, in most places in Africa, is cash and carry. So, what are the systems or methods put in place by the government to encourage people invest in the real estate department? Because I know real estate department also helps in the growth, the infrastructure wise of a nation. So, what are the systems put in place by the government in Nigeria?
The system being put in place by the government in Nigeria at the moment to make houses available. It's one what we have.
It's my
federal
Dixon
mortgage
record.
banks, but the main
Do you wanna
mortgages
be good in
available.
business,
People
successful
who
in the business
can,
world?
have
Do you wanna be
sizable
good in
number of
business, successful in the business
their
world?
mortgage.
Do you wanna be good in business, successful in the business world? Do you wanna be good in business, successful in the business world? Join our top class, Zoom meeting. Join our top class, Zoom meeting. Join our top class, Zoom meeting. Join our top class, Zoom meeting.
The government is also houses, they build houses in different parts of the country. At the moment, I'm aware that some state governments have made provision for over 2,000 hectares of land, in different states for the government to build. The only way government can help in housing is access to land. That is the one and only key and important factor that takes most of the profit from
Show
property
me the way,
development. So if
I wanna
government
make
can
it
come
too.
in
Show me the way, I wanna make it too. Show me the way, I wanna make it too. Show me the way, I wanna make it too. Show me the way, I wanna make it too. Unveiling business investment opportunities in Africa.
Via mortgages, subscribe to them. So government in itself is trying as much as they can, but of course government alone cannot meet the demand in housing at the moment.
Show me the way, I wanna make it too.
Thank you very much.
Show me the way, I wanna make it too. Show me the way, I wanna make it too. Show me the way, I wanna make it too. Show me the way, I wanna make it too. Unveiling business investment opportunities in Africa.
I log in, I do a bit of public speaking, trainer by profession, and most importantly, I'm invested in the hospitality industry.
Show me the way, I wanna make it too.
Apartments in Abuja and also restaurants.
It's my Dixon Records. Africa is blessed. Protect our culture and tourism. Let's protect our culture and tourism. Africa is blessed with natural resources. Join us this Saturday to unveil this opportunity. Ambassador Kayode, on board. Ambassador Sarah, on board. Mr. Ebuka, on board. ESBA Debio, on board. Mrs. Tokwe Momo, and our moderators, on board. Go get Africa! Let's protect our culture and tourism. Let's protect our culture and tourism. Let's protect our culture and tourism.
$1.700 naira. What happens when you want to sell the house in 2 years' time? And now the dollar against the naira is 2,000 naira. You've lost money because
Yeah, I can hardly hear him.
you converted to the apologies for that. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, good. So yeah, sorry about that. I had an interruption. So the real thing is, if you're thinking as an investor, especially if you are canvassing for people from outside the country to come invest in Nigeria, we have to give reasonable facts of what's on ground so that they can make a guided decision. Yes, there may be housing deficits, but do we have the population that can actually afford to buy that market? There's a deficit for a reason, right? Because people don't have the spending power to actually purchase houses. And it's not like the mortgage banks have anything close to single digits loans to finance his houses. So that's number one. So it depends on who you are. If who you are is someone that has a huge risk appetite, then sure, why not? By all means, come into Nigeria and invest and buy houses. And regardless of what the currency valuation is, you should be able to deal with it or live with it, right? But if you're risk averse, then that's not the case. And this comes in industry by industry. If you say, okay, look, somebody, one of the panelists did mention about seeing our vast arable lands if you're driving out of Abuja. And yes, there's millions and millions, over 5 million hectares of arable land in Nigeria. But the reality is that you cannot, for sense of it, go into there by yourself and start farming. You can, there's real risk. And I did this investment in 2000. And believe you me, one day we came to the farm, and we didn't come to the farm, we were called on the phone, and they said, no, you have to come. I said, what's the problem? And they said that they've been attacked. And we had our head farmer, his hands were cut off and he was put in his pocket. So that investment in Southern Kaduna had to close. We had to move over to a different location, explain to our investors why we lost it. You want to invest, number one, in something you understand. Number two, with a timeline that you can deal with, right? And that's the fundamental of any investment. What do I understand? Number one, what risk can I swallow? Number two, what timeline do I have for myself? So regardless of whether you're investing in agriculture, whether you're investing in art, or whether you're investing in real estate, it now depends on what timeline are you giving yourself. Because these are real factors that you have that can skew your business plan sideways. And it has for many people. So I feel the need to say this because some people, my friends that are living overseas, they invested with me, and then 5 years down the line, they're like, okay, this house isn't particularly moving up in price, right? And so that becomes a problem for them, because if you had told them earlier on, invest in just bare land, because the land will likely appreciate when there's government infrastructure on ground, they'll be like, oh, well, Ebuka, there's nothing to see here, nothing to see here. How sure are you that there's going to be government infrastructure? But from what we find out here, the appetite for people is to buy brand new houses and not second-hand houses. So if you buy a brand new house and you have renters live in it, after 5 years and you try to sell it, you probably will be selling it the same price at which you bought it, or if not less, because people want brand new houses because there's a lot of development going on. And so, yes, back to the point Mr. Femi that said, you have to be able to know the market, know their tastes, and deal with the risks you can afford, right? Especially if you're an international person trying to invest in Nigeria when our currency is constantly being devalued, because trying to convert it back to dollars, you find out that maybe you should have just kept your money in some safe the stock market and earn 8% every year. That's my take.
Okay, thank you.
I can see your hand. Are you raising your hand regarding to the current question? Mr. Adewale, I saw you raised your hand before, or was this a mistake?
Oh, sorry, it was previously, yes. So.
Oh, okay. So I'm moving. Mr. Femi, you want to say something? So the floor is yours, and then I can move over to the next question.
Yes, I just want to make a little contribution to what Mr. Ebuka said. And you hear me keep talking about feasibility and viability study. One mistake we make is, my sister Nneka made mention of something the other time, that because you see someone selling sachet water and it has moved, you also dabble into it. Now, even investing in real estate, you need to know the particular rooms that are moving. You need to buy, my brother Adewale made mention of something. Your location also matters a lot. Now, I cannot go and advise someone to build a 5-bedroom duplex in a place where I know what you are supposed to build there are 2-bedroom flats or 1-bedroom flats, an apartment. I can't ask you to go and build a service apartment in a particular location where I know people will not go there to pay for these services. These are the things we need to look into when we are investing. People pass informations around. You hear, 3-bedroom flat is moving. You now just double into building 3-bedroom flats. Do you know if 3-bedroom flats will move in that location? Now, there's a place in Abuja called Maitama. Most of the properties you have in Maitama are highbrow properties where you have even up to a rent of 15 million, 20 million. Now, I wouldn't ask someone that has maybe 200 million or 100 million that wants to invest 100 million now. I will not ask you to go and invest in Maitama, because even securing the land alone in Maitama, a 1,000 square meter land in Maitama, the 1 million cannot even buy it. So these are the things we need to look into when we are talking about investment. If you go and invest in a wrong place, you wouldn't get your return on investments. So this is it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that information. So I have a question. Mr. Ibuka is raising his hand. Mr. Ibuka, I'm just going to give you a few minutes to talk if you want to talk about this question. If not, I'll just move on.
No, we can move on. We can move on so that we don't dwell so much on it.
All right, thank you. We've been talking about investment and the challenges that comes with it. I personally also want to know the difference between C of O, deed of agreement, and some other thing that they call it. Sometimes this has been an issue for a lot of people for the real estate sector. I don't know if this C of O, deed of agreement, or the other document. In fact, the real estate sector has a lot of name for those things. They don't have one or two. There's a lot. And people get confused. Most people that buy land here, they get confused when they give them the document. They're asking for C of O. And the person that bought the land is telling them, there's nothing like C of O. They didn't give me O, and they get mad, like, you have to get the C of O for me. And it seems like it has been a problem. So please, I would like a clear explanation on that. Why do we need, what is the difference? And another question is, sometimes after buying those lands, we found out that the government, they claim that this land belongs to the government. We are sorry, you're going to lose this land to the government. Why is that? So when people are investing in this kind of thing, especially the land, how would they make sure that this land does not belong to the government? They're not buying the wrong thing. Thank you.
Okay, let me take that briefly. Hello, can I go on?
Yeah, sure. So thank you.
Oh, great. Yes. With respect to C of O, bit of assignment, sales agreement, with respect to, let me take from Lagos and I'll come to Abuja. With respect to Lagos, there are certain areas that have, C of Os. A C of O means certificate of occupancy. What that means is the government has certified that piece of land or that apartment that you have, has certified you as the owner. So if you have that, it is a bankable document. Okay, you can actually go to the bank and get a loan against that property with a C of O. So that's where we estate surveyors and valuers come in. When, for instance, you have a property, let's say in Lekki with C of O, and let's say the property is worth 200 million. You can actually go to the bank with that C of O, certificate of occupancy, and have a loan against that property, and then you can go ahead, use the money for business and all of that. Now there are other lands, other properties that are yet to be certified by government. So they have to go through a number of processes for the land to be certified. Some people buy large expanse of land from families, and that, let me also, that takes me back to the origin of land. in Lagos, there are some land that belongs to some, families, and developers go to these families to, to buy off this property from them. So when you do that, you now have to go to the Lagos state government to get this land certified. To get that certified is a process. They send in land surveyors to measure the land. They put it in the gazette. There's what they call excision and all of that. So many terms. So basically, that's where you as an investor need a professional to guide you properly. Now come to Abuja. There's what they call, sales agreement, deed of sublease. For instance, if you have a plot of land, say 1,000 square meters, with a C of O, and there's what is trending at the moment. It is called joint venture, where the landowner comes with the land, the developer comes, develops the land into multiple units, say terrace building, say block of flats. Now, if you come to buy a unit on that project, you'll be given, sales agreement, deed of sublease. What you need to do when you get those documents in themselves, they are not titled. The only recognized title is the certificate of occupancy, or right of occupancy. Right of occupancy is issued first before the certificate of occupancy. So what you now need to do when you get into such transactions is to go to the land registry in those locations. In Lagos, you go to Alausa, the land registry in Alausa, Ikeja. Then in Abuja, you go to Abuja Geographic Information System, AGIS, to find out about the land you want to buy or the property. If it's on the system, there's what they call legal search. To be the history of that property will be given to you in a documented format. And then what you need to do when you engage in such transactions is you're supposed to go back to that agency, that body, to certify that property. And of course, it comes with cost. You need to go through the process. So that's what it is. When you buy a property from a developer, they can't give you C of O. They give you sales agreement, deed of sublease to say, hey, you own part of this property. You own this unit, which is part of this whole unit. So you now have to go to the agency to get that property certified with a C of O, and it takes some progress and processes. So that's one of the, I would say, hindrances to real estate development, and also making real estate bankable. In a way, as a professional, as a person, this is my personal opinion. There are so many properties in Abuja that are potential, keys, more like unlocking the potential of real estate, that are potential keys to, access to finance. For instance, there's so many properties in estates in Abuja that are yet to have their C of Os. So, and without that, you can't go to the bank to get a loan to finance your businesses. So if government is able to fast track the process of people getting certificate of occupancies to their properties, I bet you the economy would and of course the government will have revenue from people coming to say, hey, I want to get my house certified. I need my C of O. I need to have it certified. Thank you so much. Let me rest the case for now.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That was really
Yeah.
clear. So that being said, it simply means the C of O also determines the price of the land, right? Oh, you are muted.
Yes. Yes. A land with a C of O would cost more than a land without a C of O.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you also mentioned that someone buying a property somewhere, and then the government comes to, I don't know who mentioned that earlier. It is also important before you buy, you make your inquiries, well, from the land registry to know the allocation of such land. Some people in the past have bought lands that have been designated by the government as agricultural land, and then they buy and they start building estates, residential estates. So in that instance, the government comes and they demolish, and you say, hey, the government is bad. No, you didn't do your due diligence before buying those properties. You need to do your due diligence by going to the government body, by knowing what sort of use has this land been allocated to, in the master plan. So thank you.
Yeah, that being said, sometimes people are not aware they need to go to the land registry, as you said. we only focus on the agency selling the land to us, right? So people are not aware. They're only expecting the agency to tell them everything they need to know. I'm going to the land registry and you tell them, oh, I saw a land somewhere at Ikeja. I think they actually need a document to prove or to know exactly where the land is. And for you to get this document,
Exactly.
I'm not sure the land agency is going to allow you go into their land like that when you haven't made payment to take a measurement or something. So what would you say about that?
What I would say about that is this. I would advise you pose these questions to whatever agent or whatever agency that is selling that, oh, okay, when I buy this land, what document are you giving to me? And I'm sure the one to sell, they will definitely provide you with something. They will say, oh, this land is RFO, the documentation is on course, is in the process. You can ask for photocopies of such and then approach, the land agency. And of course, you can approach any of us here. We can assist you with that. For instance, the director of lands in Lagos is a noble colleague, so we have access to such persons. We have, a number of our colleagues working in AGs here in Abuja, and all over the country we have contacts. So it's very important you make this, investigations before you buy into any property. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, over to Mr. Femi. You want to say something?
Okay, just to add more to what my noble colleague has said. We have federal lands and we have state lands. Now, the lands in Nigeria are vested into, like the state land now, the governor, he owns the land. He has the freehold interest on the land. And anybody he's giving the land to is also leasing it. Like if I have a property now, I've leased it. And the highest number of years I can get it is for 99 years. So after that 99 years, the land should go back to the freeholder, which is the governor holding it in trust for the state. Now he can if he wants, he can agree to still renew it for me, being the leaseholder. Now, like my noble colleague said, what I'm entitled to is the CFO, which is the highest landed certificate I can get. So most time, the mistake we make when buying land is that we don't do our due diligence. There are lands that I mark. You get some local land, the local chief will sign it for you. When he signs it for you, the next thing you're supposed to do is to go to the local government, register it. From the local government, you go to the state government. You follow all these stages and do your registration, and then you now get your RFO. It might interest you. There's a scenario in Abuja that a certificate of occupancy was cloned, and people bought the land. And before now, what they normally ask when you want to buy, when you are doing your search, is just your CFO. Your CFO, when they see the original, you show them the original, they check for the security checks and everything. If it's okay, then you can pass. They tell you, they give you a positive reply. But they found out that most people don't have, before you get your CFO, you must have your RFO. So even if you go to Aegis today, if you want to conduct any search, one of the documents they must see is your RFO. That is the right of occupancy, because that will come before your CFO. And if you can't provide it, they will really want to know how you got that land, because they don't want to go into any problem again. So your RFO is as important as your CFO, though the CFO is the highest certificate you can get. But before you get your CFO, you must have your RFO. And my noble colleague has also explained, we have so And that is where you can only get the specific 600 square meter, 700 square meter, that is yours. So they can't give you C of O. It is only the government that can give you C of O.